Hi, my name is Miguel Malena with Riverbed Support. Welcome to today's Steelhead Know-How, where we will be discussing resolving the disconnected no HTTPS connection status from the Steel Central Controller, or otherwise known as SCC, to Steelhead. Before we get started, let's briefly go over why we're using an HTTPS connection now. Prior to SCC 9.x, the SCC would only use SSH to manage Steelheads. Starting SCC 9.x and newer, we are now using a combination of SSH and HTTPS to manage Steelhead devices running 9.x or newer code. This HTTPS connection was introduced to support our newer features such as QoS, path selection, and web proxy. This communication occurs between the Steelheads and the SCC via the primary interface IP addresses and TCP ports 443 and 9443. As part of this feature, it is now required that the steelheads have the command SCC hostname and the SCC FQDN or SCC IP. To resolve the disconnected no HTTPS connection on the SCC, you'll have to log into the steelhead via SSH or console and run the following commands: no SCC enable, SCC hostname, SCC FQDN or IP, then SCC enable. After doing so, you can run the command show SCC on the steelhead to view the connection status from the steelhead to the SCC. At this point, you should see that the SCC and steelhead have successfully established a connection between each other via HTTPS. You should now be able to log into the web interface of the SCC and see that the steelhead is connected as healthy. Please note that this connection status on the SCC is a reflection of the steelhead's alarm status, so you may see something different depending on the alarm status of your device. Now, in case that you see that the steelhead is still disconnected, here are some additional troubleshooting steps. Number one, ensure that TCP ports 443 and 9443 are not blocked between the steelheads and the SCC's primary interface. Secondary, if you're using the FQDN of the SCC, please make sure that the steelhead can resolve and ping the FQDN of the SCC. If it can't, I would double check the DNS settings on the steelhead and make sure that they are correct, and pointing to a valid DNS server that can resolve the SCC's FQDN. It is possible that due to fragmentation and possible MTU issues between the steelhead and the SCC's primary interface, that it could also be contributing to the disconnected no HTTPS connection. Please investigate between the steelhead and the SCC's primary interface and see if there's any possible issues related to fragmentation and/or MTU misconfigurations. If after going through all of the above you still see disconnected no HTTPS connection, please contact Riverbed Support for further assistance. Here is a brief demo on how to enable the HTTPS connection. You will notice that we're going into the steelhead via SSH. We are running the command no SCC enable. We're configuring the command SCC hostname and the SCC's IP address in this case. We are re-enabling the SCC enable command. And now we are running the command show SCC. And at this point, we can see that the HTTPS connection to the SCC has been successfully established. We will write our configuration and exit out of the SSH session. We will now refresh the SCC's user interface, and we can see that the steelhead is successfully connected as healthy to the SCC. And this is how you can easily resolve this issue.